Hi, community. Skyra here from Terra Temple. I was trying to figure out today. Usually, I get like inspiration about like something I'm really passionate that I want to talk about. And I'm not trying, I am going to be posting regularly, making videos because I always have these desires to speak about awakening, healing, spirituality, addiction, recovery, trauma, all those things that we're moving through, but also um, not just those heavy things, but the the joy, the passions, the creativity, because as we get it's like a wave, we can go through these periods of time. And I will say that when you're in the beginning stages of awakening, or you've had a Kundalini awakening, which is like the buzzword today. A Kundalini awakening is the big thing. You watch it all over YouTube, and these Kundalini practices. Um, and I know from experience what that is because I actually had my own Kundalini awakening it started around 2017, but 2018 was the massive part when I started practicing Kundalini yoga, breath work, and I was in high detoxification, healing my body, and actually putting my own self through um, a process of ridding my body from disease, from old pharmaceutical use for many years because I was told that um, my depression and it was a it was just something I was gonna have because my mom had, depression and all these things all her life, and they tell us this is where my conversation is gonna go. I can see right now. Sometimes I just start speaking and then it will arrive, and it is going to be about the illusion, the darkness that um in the pharmaceutical industry, and it may get flagged. It's nothing new for me. I've always been an outspoken person when it comes to that, the medical and pharmaceutical industry, because of my own experiences and watching my mom uh, addicted to pills and dying of cancer and just being injected nonstop with medications and being told by doctors that she just had this disorder. And the truth of it is that nobody talked about was trauma and suppression and not being able to speak your truth and not being able to defend yourself and not being able to, which is still happening all over our world. Women are oppressed all over the place. I think that the United States is one of the most open, but women have, I think that what's happening is that when the oppression of the feminine is so intense and for so long that it swings to the opposite direction. So anything that's oppressed will come out in a different way. So that's why we're experiencing this um, reversal of roles between the masculine and the feminine, whereas the women are have been have been conditioned to be strong, to take care of the families when the men have to be shipped off to wars to fight for um, the war machine, you know, for those who are here to take our or fighting we're fighting for the resources has nothing to do with fighting for countries. It has to do with we're fighting wars for those elites who control humanity on this world. Um, so people just haven't woken up. And that they've conditioned men to, to and it's patriotic. Of course, everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to support a country, but when we don't realize what we're actually fighting for, that's where we have an issue. And so, if you look back at um, like when this really, like, I would say the takeover of our country in the 30s, and the Industrial Revolution, bringing in the education system, the big illusion, the medical system, all these systems to uh, mind control, mind control. And that's what we're in right now. They know that they can't control humanity much longer. Um, but what they have managed to do over about 4 generations is to get people believing that there's something wrong with them, believing that they have to fight for their country when they're actually fighting for resources for the Vatican and for um, various religious organizations that control this world, that they want to bring in the one world order. And I'm speaking some deep shit, because I don't have any reason to not speak out anymore. Um, and those who that resonate and are questioning what's happening in the world are going to be drawn to this. And there's going to be some that have no idea what I'm talking about, and that's fine too. But as you have an awakening, and that was one of my biggest things that woke me up was religion. And I couldn't make sense of it. I couldn't make sense of what was happening because of what my experiences in churches. But that's another story. My focus was how the conditioning of many women, of my mom, and being told that we need to be on pharmaceuticals because we're depressed and we have anxiety. And it started back with a little blue pill, back in the 60s with women. Um, because when you're suppressed and the oppression, it has to come out another way. And usually it's just that you kind of give up or you feel powerless. Um, on the other extreme, it comes out as a pushback, a pushback that we're experiencing now with women that they want to, it's overpowering. They're now want to be men and masculine and control because the patriarch programming that we've had, that we have to, when men are off to wars, that we had to take over our family and take care of the women had to take care of the kids and be men and support the men fighting. That's what they used us for that. And then the men come back fighting wars, watching death. There's no processing because they know this is the way to destroy families. There's no processing the horrific things that they witnessed, the trauma that lives in their body and their psyche. And there comes addiction between both. Addiction because it's just a generational thing when you're not dealing with trauma and you're um, being forced to go off to wars and you're supposed to just come back and be normal in your family and take care of your children. No, that's not what happens. No, this has been the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and they tried to just normalize it, right? And so then you have these men coming back with trauma. They drink and beat their kids, beat their wives because they're traumatized. And then you have women who hate the men, and then they're starting to take pills because they can't deal with it either. And then we have a society of anxiety, depression, suppressed emotions, sweeping things under the rug, because we got to survive. We got to keep going, right? And this can't keep going on. This can't keep happening. Um, so that's what we're doing. We're waking up. We're waking up and remembering. We're waking up and remembering our power. We're waking up and saying, I don't, and a lot of people, unfortunately, don't realize that all labels, these labels that have depression or we have anxiety. And honestly, what depression is a feeling that you are living in the past. Anxiety is worrying about the future. Um, they say that there is chemical imbalances, and there could be some chemical imbalances, but a majority of it is a chemical imbalance created by trauma through generations. And it lives in the cells. So when you understand detoxification and you understand how when a mother gives birth to her child, she's actually carrying the cells of the grandmother in that baby, 4 generations back. And those cells hold trauma, they hold memories. Babies carry trauma even from the mothers if the mothers have gone through traumatic experiences why they were pregnant, which was in my case, because I carried that need to have a man to I didn't have any self-worth, didn't believe that I was worthy, and you're looking for someone outside of you to love you, and then you end up uh and these are a lot of us who are star beings who have been here are going through this um deep deep healing and memories and realizing that this isn't this lifetime. It's carried back from generations. But then when you get deeper into your healing, it's not only intergenerational, you realize it's interdimensional because you start having past life memories. You start remembering that you're repeating things in this lifetime that you've had from the past. And you're here to heal those soul wounds. So at the core of these addictive patterns and these trauma patterns and these repeated patterns is soul wounds. It's it's way more than the eye can see. And when they just say you have something wrong with you or you have a chemical imbalance and you need to take this pill, it shuts you off completely from the truth. It severs your connection and your pineal gland from source, from your power. And like my mother and my grandmother, they thought that innately something was wrong with them. And it's really just the programming that's been running for generations, 5,000 years to be exact in this epoch, uh, which I'll go into another video. Or it would be great for a community talk. How's that? I will, anyway, I just wanted to come on and talk about a little bit about that today because I'm really passionate about education on pharmaceutical use and labeling and what the truth is behind addictions and the truth is behind pharmaceutical use, and what it actually does and what they tell us to believe that is not true. Um, if this resonates with you, what I speak, please like, subscribe, join my community. I have a link on the description. I would love to hear from you. I would love to get your information. I'm going to be sharing information through emails once I start collecting some emails on the community, start getting a following. We'll start having some gatherings, and go from there. But I just wanted to have a community where um people could be themselves. People could be authentic. And without with me, like there was a pressure at one point, like I was trying to be a coach on here, and it's like, you know what? I just gave that up because I just want to be myself today. And if somebody is drawn to me, great. If they're not, that's fine too. Because that's another program that we got to go out and chase things. We got to go out and make things happen, and we got to go force things. And so my own process these past couple of years has been to moving into deep trust. Deep trust is to share your authentic self, and those who are meant for you will arrive. If I spoke to anybody tonight or was today, whenever you're seeing seeing this video, I would love you to comment. How do you like my picture? I took this is a picture and it's my background when I arrived in Hawaii last year, and I was driving or I was being driven and took this beautiful sunset picture. I just love it. Not there. I'm in Hawaii at this moment, but it's dark. It's nighttime. So, but I just love it. It's so beautiful. I love the sun. Have a beautiful evening, and invite you to participate in this channel. Aloha.